Hello, welcome back to the channel. Well, as you can see, last night I started to fill in the space with the compost I said I was going to, because I received a bunch more compost and a bunch of pine bark mulch. So I started to fill this space in. I still have a lot of work to do, but today we're going to turn around and plant up 10, or actually 9 in the front, and there'll be one off to the side, which you really won't see, which you really don't care about. But the 9 in the front are the important ones. What we'll be planting up is 9 golden ticket privets. Golden ticket privet is a variety of privet that is grown by Proven Winners. They're not sponsoring this, I just thought I'd mention that. It is a non-invasive privet because most privets are quite invasive. In fact, actually here in North Carolina, they're considered highly invasive. If they get into the wood line, they wind up destroying a lot of the natural vegetation. It becomes a mess, it spreads easily. The golden ticket does not do that. What it does do, though, is produce some incredibly beautiful foliage, and it also turns around and produces some awesome smelling flowers in the springtime. I mean, just actually lovely. And the more of the bush that you plant, more of the shrub that you plant, the better the smell. And I have a hedge line over here. It's growing and it's awesome. And it's also quick growing because it's privet. So it doesn't lose its speed that privet grows at. And you can train it into a formal shrub, as I'm trying to do, and it's just awesome. But it is somewhat expensive. So just a few weeks ago, I ran across a website which I hadn't been to in over a year. Greenwood Nursery, I believe, is the website. I'll leave a thing here somewhere below. But they were clearancing out a lot of their older inventory from this year. And they had a lot of little quart plants in varieties of types or whatever. Again, you can go to their website. They may even still have some stuff in inventory, clearancing out. But I got myself 10 shrubs for $10 a pop. And normally they go for about $20 a pop. So it's half price. Now, these are not the best looking shrubs. In fact, let me show you. These are a little ratty looking. They're not the prettiest shrubs around. They're highly root bound. Again, they've probably been in these pots all year long. But I'm getting myself a golden ticket privet, and the privets are very hardy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plant them up today, and then probably by next, I'm going to say summer, they're going to start looking pretty good. The following spring, so spring 2025, they should start looking incredible. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe they'll start looking a whole lot better than that. But I'm willing to bet by spring 2025, after being in the ground for about a year, they'll look freaking awesome. Probably as awesome as the hedges I currently have. So I'm going to start popping open bags of compost, show you how I'm going to be planting these things up, and then start planting. So real quick, you just saw me put down some of this compost here. I'm just going to pop this hedge out, this privet out, and you can see how root bound it is. So I'm just going to tease the roots. I should break up some of these bottom ones because they're really matted. That's not doing the plant any good. All right, and I'm planting these about 2 feet apart. And since the border itself is about 3 inches tall, that's basically the depth of the pot, more or less. And it's okay if it sits a little proud, because this way the water moves away from the plant when we get those torrential rains. Plus the plant sits a little higher than the ground level itself, which is also okay, because again, some of the roots stay out of the sopping wet ground. And yet this plant will turn around and drive its roots into the ground, seeking moisture when it's really hot, which here in the south is not a problem. And I'm just gonna tuck this guy right in, like so. Let's make sure he's tucked in, plenty of soil or compost around him. Move on to the next one. So again, roughly 2 feet apart. That last one was a little too close to the edge. The hedge itself, I'm gonna have it be about 3 feet deep, so I wanna keep about a foot at least from the edge. All right, tuck this guy in. All right, and we can turn him that way. It's fine. And just get all that compost tucked in around. Oh, I'm not worried if there's a low spot between the plants. Again, sort of helps with the drainage issue. I'm not an expert, by the way, so if you guys have any thoughts, comments, etc., please leave them below. And the next one can go about here. I think this one's a little worse than the others. I don't know if you can see that. One of the things I forgot to mention before I started planting all this was each one of these had these crazy long leaders on them. And if I can find the picture, I'll post it up here. Probably about a foot, foot and a half, 2 foot even in some cases, which was just nutty. And I could plant them out that way, but that just seemed wrong and silly somehow. Expert gardeners, please chime in. Let me know what your thoughts or feelings were. But I didn't just throw away those leaders. What I did was I took a bunch of cuttings from them. So theoretically, hopefully, maybe some of them will take, and I could use those privets down the road to fill in some of the gaps that I still will have along the veg garden side over here or elsewhere in the garden. Actually, I really want to do a whole hedge line of the golden ticket, not only in front of the flower garden, but also out by the orchard. That's like 120 feet of hedging. That's a lot of plants. So hopefully some of those cuttings that I took do take, and maybe next spring slash summer slash fall, depending upon how fast the cuttings take and grow, I can start planting them out. So if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, click that bell icon to be notified when I do post up a new video. This way you can follow along, see what I'm up to, see what antics what antics are going on, and let me stop prattling, start planting. So there you go. I was only going to plant 9 there, but I goofed my spacing because I didn't use a spacer stick, and probably should have used like a spacer stick, but c'est la vie. It is what it is. It's done. And they will grow, hopefully, survive the winter. And that's also important for me planting them now. Again, if you guys are new to the channel, welcome. Thank you for subscribing. I'm sorry I didn't start off with this, but my name is Jason, and I'm building a garden here in Eastern North Carolina, growing zone 8A. That being said, my winters can get cold. Last year, the whole country had that ridiculous cold snap, which I don't expect this year. But the sooner I can get all this stuff planted, the sooner it has a good chance of rooting itself in. Thankfully, my ground doesn't freeze here, and I have planted shrubs in January and February, depending upon the weather. The sooner I get them in the ground, the better. And this way gives them the best chance of growing and thriving. And like I said, hopefully next spring they really start putting on some massive growth. Hopefully, we'll see, I don't know. And I'm gonna hope and cross my fingers and toes by spring of 2025, we're just seeing a beautiful 4-foot tall golden hedge right here. That would be just beyond my wildest dreams. It's crazy that I have to wait till 2025. 2025 just seems so far away, yet it's not. Let me shut up again. Mulch all this up, and we'll wrap up this video. Well, all right, there you go. A new hedge line planted. Now, I did mention that I got these little ones for $10 a pop from an online nursery. Well, actually, they're not online. They have an online presence. They're in Tennessee, maybe? I don't know. Again, I'll leave where I got these plants from. You can go check them out yourself, see if they have some clearance plants that maybe you can pick up. And again, maybe, these plants may not look the best. They may look ratty and beat up and tired, but give them a little love. You plant them in the right medium and plant them in the right place, and they'll bounce back. A lot of plants are very resilient. But I did pick up a golden ticket privet from my local nursery that's 3 times the size, or twice the size of these little ones for $5. So be sure to check out your local nurseries or garden centers this time of year, because I'm sure they'll have plenty of clearance plants that they just want to get rid of, because they're probably already making room for winter or fall or winter stuff. And of course, then there's always next spring, which they're already planning and staging for, believe it or not, because a lot of these plants do take some time to grow. If you don't follow Creekside Nursery, I think it's called, I'll leave the thing here below. Yeah, they're in Dallas, North Carolina. I have no affiliation to them, but I do watch what they do as they grow and sell plants at their nursery, and it's pretty amazing the amount of back-end stuff that has to get done so that we as consumers, when we go to these places, we're just oohed and awed and wowed, and we wind up buying a bunch of plants from them. Well, there's a lot of background work and preparation that goes on to make all of that possible. The other nice thing to today's exercise was, and it was a bit of exercise, was I got 10 new pots to reuse when I'm planting up stuff for the springtime and or overwintering stuff in the greenhouse, which there'll be a lot of this year. I plan on overwintering quite a few things, and you can follow along with what I'm overwintering in my greenhouse, what plants I'm trying to save, divide, grow. Again, I'm on an acre and a half. I'm building a garden here from scratch. I know next to nothing, but it's like those channels where you watch somebody build a house, you know, a total novice and a beginner, or restore a chateau in France, or build a house out of cargo containers. I'm just building a garden. Me and my little pup. She's around here someplace. You'll see her in a second. So just real brief. I have my row of hedges here in the front of the rose garden. Behind them, I have a row of shrubs, roses, and a Japanese holly. And then where the mulch bags currently are, eventually there'll be a low row of boxwoods, let's say like 2 foot tall. And hopefully in another 10 years or so, when the rose garden project finally gets kind of wrapped up with at least the structure of it, it will start looking a bit more together and a lot more formal, because that's the kind of the way I want the rose garden to look. A little more formal. Formal appearance, tidy, very trimmed, very neat, very together. Doesn't look that way now, but it will. So if you haven't checked out the links below this video, please go check out the links in the description below. If you haven't subscribed again, please subscribe. Click that bell icon to be notified of when I do post up a new video. Sophie here would very much appreciate it. Do your close-up. Say hello to everybody. Stop. No, you have to look at the camera. Look at the, yeah. You thought I was a bad YouTuber. That's gonna wrap it up for today. I'm gonna catch you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.